Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name's Keir Smith. I thought I'd let the dust settle on all of the hype around Glastonbury before I wade in with my well-considered opinions. But I wanted to talk about my favourite band of the modern day who played the headlining show on Friday the 27th of June on the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury, the 1975. I have long championed this band for their artistic vision, for their pop sensibilities and the vocal stylings and lyrical prowess of enigmatic frontman Matty Healy. In short, this is a band with great albums crammed full of great songs, and at Glastonbury they put it on full display for the world to see. The band moved quickly into action in typically slick and stylish fashion with the songs Happiness, which is the first time they've opened with that song, If You're Too Shy Let Me Know, and Love Me. And just before the guitar solo in the song Love Me, Matty announced, with no irony at all, in 2025, a guitar solo. Yes, that's right folks, a guitar solo. They still exist. And it's a really good solo. Adam Hand played it perfectly and immediately the band sounded good. They sounded tight, displaying three much loved hook-tastic tunes. Then they played my favourite song by the band, which I don't think they played live for a good few years, She's American. And there's a really cool ambient and atmospheric breakdown in the middle of that song, which Matty decided to replace by singing a part of the Backstreet Boys hit, I Want It That Way. But I know that he's a bit of a fan of the band, so while it was a little bit of a surprise, I enjoyed it. And in any case, the 1975, if nothing else, are full of surprises. I think to begin with, Matty seemed understandably nervous. He kind of stumbled around the stage with that pint of Guinness in one hand and a fag in the other, sort of stumbling around like maybe he was a little bit drunk, but I think it was more nervous energy. He quickly settled into his stride though, dancing and gliding across the treadmill at the front of the stage, which was very entertaining. I was waiting for him to do something a little bit silly, and I was quite amused when he went over to the left-hand side of the stage and provocatively held that lengthy microphone stand between his legs. I thought part of the band was an interesting selection. It's a very lush orchestral thing, very wordy, but that went down well too. And Matty addressed the crowd again, suggesting that he was probably the best songwriter of his generation, something that I would wholeheartedly agree with. But then of course he goes into one of the band's biggest songs, one of their early favourites, Chocolate, with lyrics that are so throwaway. But then the next song after that was the lyrically profound Paris, which Matty declared as his favourite song by the 1975, and that was performed in all of its glorious and shimmering beauty. Honestly, that song is one of the best songs ever. I have pored over the lyrics of that song many times. They're so good. If you'll indulge me, I quote, "There was a party that she had to miss because a friend kept cutting her wrists. Hyper-politicised sexual trysts. Oh, I think my boyfriend's a nihilist. I said, hey kids, we're all just the same. What a shame." That's good. That's really good. And I love the way that Matty contradicts himself like that. He declares himself probably the best songwriter of his generation, throws it away with Chocolate and then brings it back with Paris. Brilliant. Both great songs. He then turned to the crowd and asked, "Will you sing Robbers with me?" As if he needed to ask. Absolutely. And they did, in full voice. And to the right hand side of the stage there was a car there which Matty climbed into the back seat of and started singing Somebody Else from, which is another huge crowd favourite. And I read a review for this performance, and one writer clearly wasn't in the know because he queried why there was a car on stage. But it was merely Matty recreating the video for that song, which I thought was a great showpiece for Glastonbury. And I watched some of the show back on the Saturday after the Friday night performance, and I noticed that the number plate on that car said me, which again tickled me. And either side of the song Somebody Else, there were two pleasant surprises, two really old songs that didn't even make any of the band's 5 albums, HNSCC and Falling For You, which were, as I say, surprises but welcome additions. They were really good to hear. Then the band changed the pace again and went into a powerhouse and explosive performance of the song People, which was manic and brilliant. After that, drummer George, bassist Ross and guitarist Adam went off for a costume change as Matty went down to the very front of the stage and performed a lovely acoustic song called Be My Mistake. Then after that, which was most definitely a strange move, Matty went off for a costume change and kept the band waiting while he did so. But the crowd were kept informed as, in big letters on the screen, it said, Matty has gone to change his trousers. But he emerged around about a minute later, looking very dapper in his suit, along with the rest of the band. But it proved to be worth the wait as the band went into another of their most loved songs with It's Not Living If It's Not With You. It's such an enthusiastic, bright and uplifting song with a fantastic chorus to do with recovering from heroin addiction. It's a huge crowd favourite and it's always great to hear, especially when Matty sings that line, but he works in a petrol station and then addresses the crowd and shouts, "Doing what?" And they all respond by shouting, "Selling petrol." Up next was another surprise inclusion for the setlist with I Couldn't Be More in Love, a smooth Backstreet Boys style ballad. But it works really well. Again, a nice change of pace and I love that song, so I'm biased. Good guitar solo too. And completing a trio of songs from the band's amazing third album, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, is the closing track from the album, the emo-styled I Always Wanna Die, Sometimes. Again, the crowd lapped that up and it sounded great. And just before the band performed I Always Wanna Die, Sometimes, Matty again addressed the crowd and suggested that they shouldn't be surprised that the band are moving away from the more political aspects of their previous shows. He said that he didn't want the band's legacy to be defined by politics and instead it should be defined by love and friendship. And so right on cue, the band then launched into their most political song with the protest anthem, Love It If We Made It. And they risked the wrath of the BBC with that one because on the big screens behind them there were images of dead children, Kanye West, and of course the song is littered with mildly bad language and various Trump references. But I've always thought that that is one of Matty Healy's best written songs and a great anthem too. And the band kept the energy levels high with the next two songs, a pulsating version of Sex followed by an equally pulsating version of Give Yourself a Try, two of the best performances of the night. By this point I was already thinking to myself, they've not played this, they've not played that, and what about that? So what could possibly end the show? The sound, good one. And in the middle of that song, when Matty asked the crowd to bounce, my word, they bounced. That was amazing to see. And I really thought that that would be the end. It felt like the moment to end it. So again, it was another surprise when the band continued with one last song, which is a stirring and beautiful ballad from their last album. The song is called About You. Maybe a slightly strange one to finish with, but I thought it was a great performance again. At the end of About You, I think it all got a bit too much for Matty as he fell to his knees, sobbing, but he quickly composed himself and joined his bandmates back on stage for a celebratory hug. It was a big moment and a big performance and thoroughly entertaining. And it was a great performance. It was a big, lavish show. The stage setting was fantastic. It was an artfully designed set, perfectly befitting of the band's makeup. All of the lyrics and the captions that were spread across the three main big screens were great to see. I especially like that caption that said, "Your girlfriend's favourite band." They're a self-deprecating bunch. They don't take themselves too seriously. Yeah, they take themselves very seriously indeed. But yeah, the stage setting was absolutely fantastic. I expected it to be, but it was a real feature, a highlight. Quite literally, the colours were dazzling. The band were absolutely fantastic, and on top of that you had touring members contributing keyboards, horns, percussion, and special mention for John Moore, who played the beautiful saxophone solos throughout the set. As you can probably tell, I'm delighted with the band's performance. I'm a big fan and I wanted them to do well. I've been saying for a few years that they really should be headlining Glastonbury and they got their chance, and I thought they were fantastic. They came, they saw, they conquered. One final point of interest before I sign off: as the band left the stage and the lights went down, there was one final word that was displayed on the three main screens across the pyramid stage. In red lettering, it was the word dogs. So all 1975 fans are now wondering if this hints at upcoming and new material. The band have teased fans about new material in a couple of social media posts over the last few months, so New material might be coming sooner rather than later. Let's hope so. So, to all of you out there, especially the big 1975 fans, did you see the Glastonbury performance? What did you think of it? What did you think of Matty's performance? A career-defining moment for the band? Please leave any thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for my next video sometime soon. Until then, bye for now.